You can start now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amos, and thanks for inviting me to this seminar. And I'm so glad today to talk about the quality of book available in the library. Recently, I found that many people, especially teenagers, are spending less time on going to the library and borrowing books. My friends even reveal that they don't even get to the library when they are free. And because of those books didn't attract them at all. For me, I have a regular reading habit. I usually read books once a week, and I like the feeling of holding a paper book. I like those texture of reading book, and I like to read through the lines by heart with my fingers pointing to each of the words in the book. And also, I usually borrow fiction book in the library. And I think that this is all most of the people would like to borrow a fiction book in the library. And frankly speaking, it is really difficult to find a fiction book in such an enormous library nowadays. What I can find is only those dictionaries, reference books, and fiction book is just like a drop in the ocean. It takes me a long time to find it. Usually, it takes me about 2 hours to find an interesting and good fiction book. And I think the public should put more importance and concentration on it. For me, there are mainly two reasons why people are not willing to go to the library nowadays. Firstly, people think that they are not interested on those books like reference book with loads of data and knowledge. Also, even when they find a fiction book, they think that the fiction book don't appeal to them at all. For example, they think the cover is boring, or take my sister Christine as example. She recently went to the library and she found that the words in the fiction book is quite difficult for her to understand. So back to our track. As you know, fiction book is really an important source of reading for the public. And I'm here today to share one book I recently borrowed from the library, which is called Wonder. I'm so happy and lucky to have this book because I find that there are many characteristics in this book that the public can follow in order to increase and improve the quality of the books. Especially the fiction one in the library. First of all, this book, Wonder, has a charming cover. As you see, this book is filled with blue, light blue, with the face of the main character, August. I think it is clear and attractive to many readers. And it is what a fiction book have, a charming and interesting cover. And I think the government should get more books like this. And the second thing I want to talk about is that this book has a fascinating and encouraging storyline. Apart from the cover of a book, the content of a book is also important to arouse readers' interest on reading it. This book is talking about a boy called August. He has a deformed face because of some genetic problems since he was young. And he always afraid of being teased and being laughed as a freak or a person having an ugly face by others. However, because of his positive attitude and also his some kind of humor, he started to get along with more friends when he go to school. He even get two true friends during his school life, who are called Jack and Summer. Jack is the one who always care of August, while Summer is a girl who always protect him from being bullied and teased by others. And I think this story can really encourage and enlighten the readers to think more about some messages. For example, this book is talking about the message of don't always judge one by his or her appearances. And let's go to the third point, is that I like the structure in this book. In each chapter of the book, there is a monologue of those characters. For example, when the chapter comes to August, it is the monologue of him. And it is amazing that as if you are staying with them and experience the same stories with them. Moreover, besides the monologue, there are also quotes from the famous celebrities at the start of each chapter. For example, in chapter 8, there is a quote saying that you are gonna reach the sky, fly, beautiful children. This quote is from Eurythmics, which is a British music duo. And I think this special structure can really attract and arouse readers' awareness on getting this book to read. Lastly, I think that this book has a volume of vocabulary to learn from. And it's not so difficult because you can really guess the word meaning through reading through the lines. And let me give you an example. In the chapter when August, who are having a hearing disorder, he is going to have a hearing aid. When the doctor tries to turn on the hearing aids of August, August can finally hear things clearly. And in the story, he said that I can really listen brightly again. So instead of using clearly this word, the author used brightly to describe August is full of hope to hear things again. So I think fiction book can really help us to learn new vocabularies that we rarely learn from our daily lives. So all in all, this book Wonder give me a good impression. I think that what the government should do is to increase the numbers of fiction books in the library. Fiction books is different from other kinds of book. Not only is it fun, but it is also interesting to learn words or some messages from it. I think that as long as the government can implement more policy to the library, for example, making more advertisements to arouse people's awareness on borrowing more books from the library, I'm sure that the society can foster a better reading atmosphere, especially reading books like fiction book. And I think that this is the way to increase the quality of books available in the library. And I really hope that all of us here can get inspiration from the book I just described, and hope the reading atmosphere can be better and better sooner or later in the society. And I hope that people can read more fiction book as always in their daily life. Thank you.
Thank you.